Hey, it's iCkEdMeL. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. We're going to be talking about Chassidy Saunders, a 6-year-old, where this crazy situation took place over the weekend in Liberty City, Miami. And so what I wanted to start off with was reading a description about what Cassidy was like. The best description that I was able to find was on the GoFundMe page, which I'll put the link down below if you guys want to check that out. Cassidy was a beautiful girl and cheerful girl who lit up rooms whenever she went. She was a definite girly girl who walked around the house with heels too big for her size, ready to take on the world. One way she took on the world was by TikTok, which on multiple news articles, it states that her family dubbed her as TikTok Princess. She loved that app. Every day you'd see her posting skits and mini dance performances on the app along with her brothers and sisters. She wanted to be mainstream. She was our little beauty guru as well. If she wasn't 6 years old, you would have thought she was a cosmetician or a manicurist. She had a whole passion for nail art and makeup. She'd constantly go around asking everyone, "Can I do your nails or do you want some lip gloss?" If you'd say yes, she'd pull out the whole beauty store from her pockets or her little purse and proceeds to beautify you. Thinking back, I wish more of our answers were yes, doll me up, instead of no thank you. Just to have that extra time with her before she passed. To have more memories to lean on during this challenging and heartbreaking time.
The pictures back up what her grandmother Sharon Cullens describes, a lively, girly girl.
She was a diva, a real diva. She loved lipstick, makeup, and hair, and nails, and lip gloss.
We just spoke with her father off camera. He described her as loving, caring, just a beautiful young girl.
The rest of the GoFundMe was briefly details about what happened that day, January 16th, which we're going to get into, and we're going to watch some news clips. And at the very end, they explain the expenses, which is going to be for Cassidy's funeral, plus her parents' living expenses while they're out of work during this difficult time. So Cassidy was at this birthday party on Saturday. The party was ending. It was around 7 p.m. when the party ended, and it's reported by multiple news media that they were leaving. I don't know how, and this is what I wonder. I have several questions. Were they still at the party when the shots went off? Were they already walking away? How far away were they from that party? It's reported from WSVN that Miami police said gunman or gunmen opened fire into a crowd of women and children around 7 p.m. Like, who does that, right? I also wondered, too, one of the questions I had was Cassidy there with her mother or her father or another family friend or family member? During this time where the shots were going off, well, 3 people were hit total. So Cassidy was one of them, and then there was a man and a woman that was hit too. So I don't know if that man was in the crowd or was just mostly women and children or what's up with that. They're both in their 20s, and it says here that they were taken to the same hospital, and the man who was in his 20s had been shot in the leg. Neighbors reported that they heard around 15 to 20 shots, just a bunch of shots, and it sounded like more than one gun firing. So was it, and it was supposedly a drive-by shooting. Was it multiple people shooting into the crowd, or was it somebody returning fire? They were all 3 of them actually taken to Ryder Trauma Center in critical condition. Now, I want to play this clip and we can watch it together. It's a clip of where they talk about what happened, but also somebody witnessing, seeing Cassidy and what was going on and what happened. It's pretty sad. It's just tragic and horrible. And so let's get into that.
This is 6-year-old Chassidy Saunders, an energetic and creative little girl whose life was cut short Saturday by gun violence. Those who heard the gunshots say it was chaotic.
Doom, 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 like for a very long time, and it felt like the building was rattling.
A birthday party for a 2-year-old was just ending Saturday evening along Northwest 6th Place and 55th Street when someone started shooting. Witnesses say they heard more than 20 shots and that it sounded like 2 different guns were being fired. The aftermath was heartbreaking.
She was laying on the floor, and the lady ran across the street and picked her up and held her, and she was just holding her and holding the back of her head, and she was just crying, and I just heard the little girl just crying, and that's all. Like,
so let me just pause it here for a second. Horrible, just horrible. It makes me think a little bit of Atalia, one of the girls that we covered previously on the channel that was we don't know who shot her, shot into a house, and she was shot in the head. It's reported that Cassidy was shot in the head. Also wanted to show you now a little bit of the GoFundMe, but I saw another article and I saw somebody else saying this, that she was shot in the head, Cassidy. She was shot in the back of her head and rushed to the hospital where she fought hard but lost her battle. One of the things that I was wondering too, let me take it back a little bit, is who was the person that was holding Cassidy in those final moments?
Aftermath was heartbreaking.
She was laying on the floor and a lady ran across the street.
So she was laying on the floor and a lady ran across the way, according to this lady. So it just makes me wonder, and it kind of begs the question, was who was with her, and was she left alone? When these shots started ringing out, who was taking care of her at that time to have just run off? I don't know if what this person is saying true, and somebody has to come run across the way to grab her and hold her.
And picked her up and held her, and she was just holding her and holding the back of her head, and she was just crying, and I just heard the little girl just crying, and that's all. Like,
Cassidy and a woman were rushed to Ryder Trauma Center with gunshot wounds. A man later showed up at the hospital. He'd also been hurt. City of Miami police are now investigating, but so far no suspects have been named, no arrests have been made.
And who were the intentional targets? Was it this man and woman that's in the hospital? Was it targeting the family? They said she was hit by a stray bullet. Were these other people just hit by stray bullets? There had to be an intentional target. Or did they get the wrong place and shoot up the wrong place? The other thing that I thought is worth noting is that Cassidy and the other woman were rushed to the hospital. And this other man shows up later. So how far later? What's the deal with that? If you were on scene and this is the person that I guess was reportedly shot in the leg, why show up later? But later could mean a couple minutes later or could mean hours later. That's just things that I'm wondering.
Cassidy and a woman were rushed to Ryder Trauma Center with gunshot wounds. A man later showed up at the hospital. He'd also been hurt.
It's a shame. The little girl got killed over there. It's a shame. They need to do something about this. Understand me? It's like out of control. It's a shame.
To turn yourself in, because eventually you're going to get caught, and that enough is enough. We have to stop this. You know, when you start now killing our babies, that is now you have drawn the line.
As Saunders' parents and other loved ones grieve, they are left with one question. Who could have pulled the trigger?
If you know anything out there, people, please, justice for my grandchild, please.
So there's a $5,000 award out. And one of the vehicles that had shots in it, I believe one of them was towed away. Multiple vehicles had shots. And I get tired sometimes of covering this ridiculousness. I get looking at some of these situations. Kids always suffering for adults. Innocent kids. Okay? The bullshit. No snitching, right? What is that? Right? The no snitching thing. Because this child, this baby, 6-year-old, at a 2-year-old's birthday party. You really have to be some type of a disgrace to humanity to pull that kind of shit off. To shoot into a crowd. Kids, women, maybe men. A 2-year-old birthday party. But the no snitching thing. What is that? Some sort of code of conduct? Code of conduct for who? Right? Aren't most of these rappers or whatever, when they're in a pinch, they snitch? Or people in tight situations? It doesn't make any sense. It's a code of conduct and what? Some sort of morality that supersedes children being killed? 7 p.m. at a birthday party. Shot at. Drive-by. Liberty City. No suspects, no arrests, no suspects named. And how could people live with themselves doing that kind of thing? How can you continue to function after doing something like that? I can't even describe the feeling sometimes, and I really try to numb that feeling. I really do. I really try to just, and I'm just so tired of the same balloons and cards. Somebody comes and speaks some sort of political bullshit, Nothing happens. Also, Cassidy, I don't know who she was with, but if that woman reported what she reported, if it was true, was what I'm saying, I don't know who held her. Maybe it was a family member. But in the last moments, that should have been a family member. Somebody that child knows, mother, father, whatever. I don't know the details of that, so I would love to find out. And if it's true that she was lying there alone, bleeding to death, who runs away and leaves a child? I don't know. If it was my daughter, I'm attempting to grab her, or we're both getting shot. Who does that? That's it. That's my thoughts. A little bit unfiltered because I feel like I know this video will get demonetized. I'm glad that this GoFundMe was up and gave some kind of details about this child, because with the California City boys, the biological mother, there was literally one sentence, and half of that sentence was a YouTube link to a news article to talk about her child. I'm just saying. Half a sentence. So I'm glad there was something here that at least we could read, and because you gotta make it relatable too to the public. But I guess salute to the community, the people that have come about. Oh, and there's one more thing I should have mentioned. This weekend, January 23rd, 2021, between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m., they're having a Stop Killing Black Children event where they're doing a lunch and dinner sale. And from what I read here, I guess part of the proceeds or some of it's supposed to go towards helping the family, financial support. It's an outdoor event. Are they going to go shoot up that? Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the support. Take care of yourselves and peace. I wanted to put this story out because they don't know who these people are. They don't know who the killers are. There's no arrests. There's no suspects. And unless somebody speaks up, there's got to be somebody that knows something. This could go unsolved. Anyway, yeah, peace.
I see potential subscribers.